Hey, it's Steve, sitting out enjoying this beautiful September day, musing from our mountain near Branson, Missouri. The subject of this very short video is going to be Grace doesn't like snakes. Let me tell you a couple of stories. Our first date, it was my first trip to Philippines. Never been to Philippines before. Worked with a lot of people from the Philippines, but I'd never been there. So I was a little nervous. Most of the people there, the majority by far, if they understood English, they certainly didn't speak it because they didn't feel comfortable with it. So I depended on her. It was my first day in Philippines, and she knew I love this type of environment. The woods, the jungle, the mountains. I like this kind of thing, and so she took me to a big park. It may have been the Crocodile Park near Davao City. Whatever it was near Davao City. I'll have to ask her exactly where it was. But it was a venue with the animals, displays, and it also had many picnic areas for big family reunions. And there were a lot of family reunions there, which I'll get at in a minute. But we walk in, the first thing, I paid the admission for us to get in. It wasn't free. And on the right were a display of different snakes in cages, big cages, because these are big snakes. Now, although I'd been communicating with Grace for a number of months and telephone conversations, this was the first time to meet her. This was, you never get a second chance to make a first good impression kind of thing. So it was our first date and my first exposure to Philippines. And although I tried to learn as many words and phrases as I could in her particular dialect, which is Bisaya, in the region of the Philippines that she's from, let's face it, I didn't speak the language. So I really depended on her. I was totally dependent on her in this foreign country where people talked funny and had a different culture. And now we're in this place where there are animals and snakes. So we walk in. On the right hand side are all these snakes, and I'm looking at the snakes and I'm reading the signs, and I turn around. Grace is gone. Poof, she's gone. I look around. I look everywhere. She's nowhere to be found. She is nowhere to be found. First I thought she's playing a game. She played hide and go seek. And then I was annoyed when I realized I'd been left there with the snakes in the park in a different country. My first day in this country. She had abandoned me. She ran away. So I just walked around and looked at the snakes and the other animals that were in cages. And I thought, I'm truly in a different country all by myself, and I don't know what to do. So down the hill, or not much hills there, down the way there was in a big picnic shelter, there was a family gathering. And I don't mean 20 or 30 got together. There must have been 200, 300 people there. It seemed like it. There were little brown-skinned people everywhere. And of course, no one's speaking English, but music is the universal language. And there was a guy there playing the guitar. So I thought, okay, I love live music. I love live performance. I didn't expect a lot, but the guy's out there. He's the center of attention. And I was the American. I was the white guy, and I stood out. And all of a sudden, instead of the guitar player being the center of attention, just because I was standing there watching him play, I became the entertainment. And I said, "Well, play another song." "Oh no," he spoke broken English. He says, "I can't play in front of Elvis. You're Elvis Presley." I said, "Well, according to information I have off the internet, I am an eighth cousin, or Mom was an eighth cousin to Elvis. But no, I'm not Elvis Presley for sure. I do play the guitar, and I can sing Blue Suede Shoes." Oh, everyone got really excited. So I said, I do the Carl Perkins version. So I'm teaching this kid. Of course, I was a guitar teacher for over 12 years, 13, 14 years. And I'm showing him the format that Carl Perkins used. I don't know how effective I was in my teaching, but at least he got in my key and knew the chords. and so we sang. I sang with this guy. Another Filipino man came up. We all sang, and not only the 200 people that were there for this family gathering, people from in other picnic, shelters and areas were coming, and all of a sudden I found myself performing for 400 or 500 people along with these two other Filipino guys. And I thought, this is okay. All right. Music is the universal language. Thank God I spoke music, right? So, anyway, they wanted me to eat with them. Well, it's weird food. I didn't know if I should eat it or not. I'm a nurse. I'm not only a musician, I'm a nurse. And I've always been taught if you don't know how clean the person's kitchen is, don't eat their food if they bring it to get-togethers. That's something that, kind of a personal policy I adopted. But you don't want to offend people either. That's a very food-focused culture. And when you are offered food, don't refuse it. It's a rejection of them because food is so much part of their culture. Well, anyway, things came to a close. And of course, they always ask, do you have a girlfriend? Because they always know someone, right? And I said, well, no, I don't have a girlfriend, but I did come here with a girl, a Filipina. Yeah, a Filipina. I said, I don't know what happened. She just disappeared. I guess she's playing a joke on me. I still thought maybe she was just saying how maybe she's in the crowd somewhere just watching. Who knows? Who knows? So an hour later, I'm walking through this park trying to think what I'm going to do. And to tell you the truth, I'm mad. I'm just so aggravated that she would just abandon me there with all these strange people, knowing I didn't speak the language, my first day there. You never get a second chance to make a good first impression. She finally appeared, and she said, I'm sorry I left. I said, where the heck did you go? I wouldn't even call it a relationship then. This was our first date, first person date. Where did you go? I don't think it's very nice to just leave me. I said, this is not my country. I'm not shy. I told her like it was. I said, I didn't appreciate that at all. Good thing I'm a forgiving guy, I guess, because I just let it go. And she was not that apologetic. She just explained that she didn't like snakes. I said, well, not too many people like snakes, but they don't leave their date and hide for an hour. What have you been doing? I said, I've been entertaining this crowd of 400 people, trying to tactfully decline their offer of food. So I was pretty irritated. I was actually thinking, why would this human being leave me there? It's because she doesn't like snakes. Now, we ended up, as you know, about a year later, 10 months after that, we got married, and she came to this country. And I've come to learn that she doesn't like snakes. She hates snakes. She doesn't like looking at pictures of snakes in a magazine. She doesn't like watching videos of snakes. They make her panic and run away. That sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight response. So, bring this to today. What does this have to do with today? September 2023. I'm taking her to work, and she's looking at me. And she's staring at my mustache. I said, you're looking at my mustache, what do you think? She says, well, you look like a snake. Sincerity, straightforwardness, I love it. I don't look like a snake. I don't act like a snake either. But to her, at that moment, looking at my mustache, it reminded her of a snake.